An Excel spreadsheet file is called a workbook. It has multiple pages that you can navigate with the tabs at the bottom of the screen. These tabs can be renamed, deleted, etc. by right-clicking on the individual tab. You can also insert a tab by clicking here. It helps you organize the many pages of your information. Each page is a worksheet. Again, the whole file is your workbook. And it's like an already made table. You can enter information simply by clicking in any one of the cells. You have your formula bar up here where you can click to edit, or you can just enter information. You can highlight an individual cell just by clicking on it. You can highlight an entire row by clicking on the number, or like I have here, a whole column by clicking on the letter. You can also highlight the entire worksheet, by clicking on the gray box in the corner where everything meets. The top is pretty similar to Word in PowerPoint, where you can click and get your ribbon if you want. All of the formatting things are pretty much so the same. I can change the color of this whole cell. I can change the color of the text. And I can also add borders if I want to see. And something that you might do more often is when I go to paste, I might want to paste special by clicking on that drop down arrow there. Now, we can enter formulas. If you want to enter in your own formula, you can simply click in any cell where you want the answer to be, and they all start with an equal sign. I could enter it in my formula bar. I can click on the formula tab and scroll through and find what I'm looking for if I'm not sure. Although for our Amity purposes, the auto sum has the average. So, if I want to use the average, I would click where I want the answer. I'd click on this drop-down bar and I would select average. Notice here I have a more functions option as well. Once I do that, it produces the formula for me. It gives me my little cheat sheet in case I didn't know how to use the formula. But in this case, I'm just going to highlight the data I want. Sometimes it's done automatically. Sometimes it's correct, sometimes it's not. And notice my formula is actually up here. It starts with an equals. It has all capital letters. The parentheses with the colon in between is showing that my range for my formula goes from B2 to B14. Once I press enter, I will get my results. I can also sort. For a simple sort that only involves one column, I can just highlight and click on the sort feature. However, a lot of times I want to do a custom sort. A custom sort, I'm going to highlight all of the data. In this case, I clicked on the letter A and dragged across to H, and then I clicked on custom sort. Once I click on custom sort, I can add levels, because in this case I want to sort by total, smallest to largest, because I want to have the lowest scores on the top because those are my target kids for my goal. But then I also want to add a level and then sort by name because I want the students to be alphabetized for my gradebook purposes. I can also delete a level if I need to because you can't leave a level blank. I can change my small to large to high to low, or A to Z to Z to A. Now I happen to have titles in my columns. So it knew that and it recognized that my data had headers. If it didn't recognize it, or if my data didn't really have headers, I can check or uncheck that box as needed. I can also add a filter. A filter allows me to segregate my data, to take out only what I want to see. So let's say I did a CFA. My rubric was 4 is the highest, down to 1 is the lowest, and I only want to see my lowest scoring kids to know who I need to remediate for that particular assignment. I can click on Data and then Filter after I've highlighted my data. First, I would have needed to highlight all of the data that I wanted to filter. Then I would click on Data, Filter. And now I can uncheck the 3 and the 4. I can just leave the blanks checked. I can only check my 4s to see maybe I want to actually enrich some kids who are consistently getting 4s. And when I click OK, I will then only see the students that meet my criteria. If I wanted to, I can then copy and paste all of that into another worksheet to allow me to hold on to that data for later. Finally, if I really want to be jazzy and I want to have a visual representation to support my goals, I can insert graphs. I can do this by highlighting my data, and maybe I'd want to highlight the averages, maybe I wouldn't. And then I would go to Insert, and then select which graph I want. I find for goals, a column graph or a line graph works the best. Although if I'm showing all of my students, it might be a little too much information. Notice in this graph I can see for my 4 assignments how each student scored, and naturally I want to see them improving, which they did. And I can see that my first 2 assessments, my average was the same. Then it went up a little, it went down a smidge, and those are all good talking points. I hope you have found this helpful. Please contact me if you want any further information. Thank you.